I don't know. Could it be South?
And many people are back out to work. Hi, darling. Hi, Sam. Many people are back out to work. If you see the streets, people are back out and phase 3. And many people are happy. And if you see the stores, the opening up is nice. I passed through by the mall today, quick. And it was happening. Let's hope all is well and running smoothly today with the internet gods. Right. This is the time I say, come in, call a friend, let them know OMG Live is on. Like,
welcome everyone. Richard Young here in Maracas Valley, St. Joseph. I'm pleased to be here with my lovely co-host here on screen and to my right. And so I'd like you all to introduce yourselves. So, wonderful audience.
Hi everybody, Cecilia Salazar here in Petty Valley, in the northern part of Trinidad and Tobago, where it's very rainy today. It started off hot and now it's rainy. And of course I left my towels on the line again. Jeez, I don't know when I'm going to learn. Well, I'm so happy to be here with all of you on OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition.
Yay.
Hi everyone, happy Monday, happy new week. Vaughnette here in Library. Always excited and happy to be with you all. I don't even know, I don't know, actually I don't really go outside. I don't know if it's raining or if it's sunny or whatever, but we're alive and we're happy and we're smiling. So whatever's going on the outside is fine.
Well, as you noticed, today we came with the theme, the sun will come out tomorrow, not by accident. Remember, we are on Mondays to Fridays, 2 to 3 p.m. right here on OMGTT on Facebook. We appreciate each and every one of you.
To our lovely fans around the world and the islands from the Caribbean, and welcome, coming!
Yay!
Share. Coming in OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition is our way to come together, to talk, to laugh, to share, to build a community daily.
That's what we do. And today, we are playing the OMG V-Spot Challenge in our Let's Play That Game segment.
Yay!
Experience the beautiful voice of our very own Miss Vaughnette. It may be interrupted by some other singers who feel they could pull a note. I don't want to call names. Anyway,
I know that's not me. I can sing.
We are also featuring a music video from Trinbagonian artist Casper the Lyrical. He used to model for the night the Tobago Fashion Week, and his song is called Progress.
Hey, Casper.
Hi, Casper.
See some hilarious clips from TikTok. We also have a trailer from a movie called Royalty.
Hey,
Is that it, Stephen?
That's it.
Right. Royalty, plus lots of enlightening conversation to get you thinking. So please stay with us, people. Before you go and call your friend, call them from shout out, but stay with us. This is OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition.
And a special shout out to the voice in the sky, our DigiGod, Master Control, with his electrifying.
Oh no!
It was not me.
You're getting Miss Vaughnette. I almost
Vaughnette
getting
get
it. It's in the middle.
All your hair come off. I get all Vaughnette here. This is also a great time to remind all of you who are viewing us right now to share this live feed on your timeline right now. Share us, spread the word to all your friends, your family, your neighbors, and everybody.
That's
also,
how you
go to. Yes?
No, I said that's how you do your hair. The shocking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you just shock yourself.
And a bouffon happened.
That is
and
it.
go
Gosh,
to
I want to try it.
Your hair
Okay, I'll show you. The special thing. I'll show you. Let me get our public service announcement in. Let me get my public service announcement voice in. Go to fundmetnt.com page and lend your support so we can continue doing the show for you daily, right here on OMG Live, the quarantine edition.
Fabulous.
Oh, beautiful. I love your voice. I love it.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Don't forget Fun Me Titi. I say all the things he said there, Fun Me Titi was the best. Right. So you know
the one popped out.
Yes, she must say that popped out. Fun Me Titi. You know, in life, I think it does not matter what age you are, where you are in your groove, you know, things are flowing just as it should. And then something suddenly comes in the way of that happiness and it changes you, throws you totally off your game. I suppose like COVID-19, it has taken us off their game. And many want to know what to do. What do I do now? How to move on?
Yeah.
You know that, Richard?
Yeah. So you're off your game and now going down a path that is not familiar and it can squeeze all the joy out of you. Some people find the strength to get up again and start afresh with a new journey, but many pitch a tent in the past and get stuck there, kind of trying to take down my ropes and things, you know, because, So we found it,
Yeah, boy.
We found this clip from Tim's story, an acclaimed author, speaker, advisor, life coach on Oprah's Super Soul sessions. And let's take a look, let's listen and take a look and see what he's saying about moving on and moving forward.
So watch, so you have momentum, look at me. You have momentum, I'ma be, you have momentum. And then bam, you get bam, and then bam, the waves of life hit, bam. And then many people have a setback. A setback. Could be a relationship. It was looking so good the first 3 dates. Now you got to change your numbers. Right? A setback. Divorce setback. Financial setback. Physical setback. Illness setback. Somebody passed in our lives setback. When most people have a setback, watch, they take a step back. Then a setback and a step back. In a setback, in a step back, and now watch, you find yourself so far away from the real you. And people, many times, sit in that setback. I don't mind you going through a tough time and staying there for a week or a month or a year, but a decade? So some people sit, say sit. Some people settle, say settle. And that's where we're headed today, because a lot of you that are watching here today, you have been settling in your setback, and you have therefore become a discount version of yourself. Well, you don't understand what I've been through, Tim's story. Mr. Life Coach to the stars. Oh, really? We all been through hell. But to quote Winston Churchill, when you're going through hell, don't stop. Don't pitch a tent in hell. Don't build a Holiday Inn in hell. Come on, somebody. Don't even put a Ritz-Carlton in your hell.
Love it.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah. Don't pitch a tent.
Don't pitch a tent in your hell.
In hell.
No. A lot of people like to dwell and settle, and they become the moss in the canal that they and thrive and don't thrive right there. Anything you have to say, guys, about that as well?
I call that hanging around the teepee. That's another term I had for it. You know, when the same basic thing, you know, hanging around the teepee and you're not venturing outside of this box. And I am so blessed to be working with these amazing people that are pulling me every day out and further out of my box.
A lot of people get after relationship goes sour. They don't want to go in another relationship again. They stay forever by themselves. A lot of people they don't get the job that they wanted, so they go and settle for something and never try again. A lot of people get, you know, opportunities come their way and they don't know how to deal with it because they're so stuck in the hell. So people get well, get out of the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
So now during yesterday's show, Friday show, oh my God, I just think OMG all the time. During Friday's show, we had some VIPs, some very important point of views from our Facebook viewers. Let's share some of those with y'all.
That took a time to reach.
It coming on the coach.
It was dwelling in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
So VIP is Damien Edwin, who lives in Kitchener, Ontario. Hi, Damien. He says the situation in the US has been exacerbated by the current leadership of that country. As has been said by the old folks, the fish rots at the head first. I'm totally with you.
Mother always said that. Always.
Yeah, boy.
And that is not leadership. He playing the fool. He playing Monopoly or Ludo or something. He feel that you know, he's a clown. Anyway, go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, sorry. The next very important point of view comes from, it's coming. I'm waiting on it. I remember it's somebody very important. Somebody from Vancouver. Yes, Kimo Thomas, who lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, says, I often think respect has a huge part to play. So if we respect each other, we won't care to be racist or use discriminatory words towards each other. I agree with you totally, Kimo. Respect. How do we teach that respect?
And this,
CT.
We have Raphael Bernadine. I love Raphael.
Yes.
Virginia. Hi, Raphael. We need to stop asking for freedom and equality. If our freedom has to be given to us, we will never be actually free. If we want freedom and equality, we need to first be free and equal. Yeah, boy, that is heights boy, Raphael there.
One has to claim it. One has to claim it because it ain't going to be given to you. You have to claim it. So
yeah,
that's what I think.
And what about social media? Who are the fans out there? Y'all want to tell us?
Plenty people are on. They like we yellow for sure. Everybody's talking about the yellow. We have Natasha Thomas, who is there, who was one of our Fund Me TNT donors. One of our Fund Me
and an old friend.
We have Raphael Bernadine, another Fund Me TNT donor. We have Nigel Friday, Sean Edward, Shelford Trotman, Dominic LaRoche, Cambridge Delpesh, Renee Ramkisoon Henry, and she is in Brussels in Belgium. And I want to say, imagine 3 of our VIPs were from all over the world: Toronto, Suffolk, and Vancouver. I mean, I find OMG like a traveling far and wide. Sabrina Celeste,
wide and far.
Yes, Nancy.
I'm running out of outfits, y'all though. I'm running out of outfits though.
Yeah, they love the yellow.
Shelford Trotman says there's no tent in my hell. I'm getting out of that tent. Out and out of hell. Tell it, Penny. Kirk Cambridge says address it. Set a bonfire and keep it moving. Raphael Bernadine says the first step is always the hardest, but eventually you realize you're putting one foot before the next and you're walking out of it. He's talking about the hell. Richard Bruce Murrell says comfort zone can be a killer to moving forward. Ambika Rampasad says pick up the pieces one by one and make conscious attempts to make a move one step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're nice people. We have
All
some
right.
smart
Yeah.
people.
Yes, we have a great comment.
Yeah, wonderful, great, positive energy in line with our yellow sun spirit that we have brought here. So, okay, it's time to look at the OMG live COVID-19 update.
First, let's take a look at the latest World Health Organization figures.
Today, the worldwide COVID-19 infection has grown tremendously, guys. Over the weekend, it's gone to over 6,315,824 and counted infected with COVID-19. The death toll, 374,954 souls in the world have died because of COVID-19, and the recovery is approaching 3 million at 2,875,210 persons who have recovered.
In Trinidad and Tobago, we have just one new infection. One. And in quarantine, and they're getting better. They're working out the thing. So don't panic, people. Please don't panic. So we are extremely grateful for our situation. Again, thank the authorities who continue to do what is necessary to keep us all safe. Thank you.
Great. I'll do a few more shout-outs before we move ahead. I'll do a few more shout-outs. There's Nancy Innes. There is the Simba Barclay, our very patriotic Vaughnette Rose Graves. We have Joan Pierre, Brent Joel, Shalana Carter, John Michael Thomas, Richard Bruce Morale, Bernardine Johnson Collier, Ulla Williams, Greer J. Cave, Carleen Williams, Patricia Batiste, Arlene Sylvester, Rachel Young, Sarah Chanpak. Some of our familiar names are there. They're all wishing us well. They like the look. They love the color. So thank you very much for being back.
Beautiful Monday. Come in.
The 1st of June, y'all. 1st of June.
Yeah.
Well, Richard is running a little late, so he'll be with us shortly for those who are missing Richard. The few one or two people. Maybe
the other, the Ragu.
You don't even remember his name.
His cousin.
Richard who?
There's another guy.
According to Cecilia, this box look nice and big. We in here. You could move.
Yeah, you get to see my picture and my flowers and things.
Yes. I like it.
Well, you're enjoying this
like
space.
the big box. Yeah.
Good deal with all you. Go ahead.
I'm a friend, Richard.
Right.
I want Richard.
Yes.
Right. So people, we're moving on to that wonderful place. Intelligent humor, conversation. Meanwhile, at TikTok.
Really?
Okay, our first TikTok. Do you know those people who love to look at your meal and tell you that you're eating unhealthy and then add what you should and should not be eating while you are eating said food? I hate that. Well, this lady in her car,
Me too.
she cares. Good eating she cares too. And this man decided to go up to her car to edify her. Here is Sweet Teda on TikTok. Let's take a look at it.
Did you know that hypertension and heart disease kill more blacks than anything else in America?
I didn't know that. I thought it was the police.
While she gets into her beauty ticket.
You would tell him, girl. Snap.
Yeah. Very tiny.
I love that.
Very tiny. Very
Well,
tiny.
you have known this neighbor's duck since it was a duckling, a baby duck. You know the duck running up and down in the yard. However,
My
one
neighbor
day
had a
you were
duck.
What?
Yeah, well, this might
My
be you,
neighbor had
huh?
a duck. Yeah, and she had no fence. The duck used to attack everybody in the street. Crazy duck.
Oh, that
All I
is-
know
how
when
you
it's
mean had
a
a-
duck is a duck.
How you mean had a duck, Sal? She had the duck and you had the curry? Why you say had a duck?
It's a long time ago.
The dog don't live
You
no
are
more.
going to check your neighbor and the duck will not have it. It could be because the duck realizes that you females are opportunistic. Here is Freon It's Troy or Ryan?
Troy E.
Troy
E 69.
TikTok. Take a look.
TikTok about a duck.
TikTok about a duck.
A duck.
It is a dog. Get. Duck want to bite me. Yeah, you want to bite me? Do you want to bite me? Yeah?
That duck was attacking.
Make sure you went to his gate.
Oh, that's so funny. That's how I lived when I was growing up, running from the duck in the road. It was fun.
Yeah, ducks are crazy. Ducks are crazy,
So
crazy
speaking-
birds.
Speaking about females who are opportunistic, here's a gentleman who feels some men are real failures. Here is Mark Reed 09 on TikTok.
What amazed me is that it have fellas out here that would have a good girl. I talking about a cook, clean, wash, take care of the child and still work to help pay these bills type girl. And they will horn or leave that girl for a next girl. I talking about a 2-piece and fries type girl. I talking about a babe, I really want to help you wash the wares and thing, but I just did my nails type girl. I talking about the baby, you need to pay the electricity and the Netflix, because when you go to work, I just have nothing to do at home type girl. And then you want to say, oh, life is a bitch. No, if you wasn't a dog, you wouldn't be laying with fleas.
Laying fleas. I think that's a little
Men are dogs.
No, men are dogs and the fleas.
Wow.
If you lie with dogs, you'll
But
get...
it's so true. It's so true. And that's so true, though. But I like to hear it from a man point of view. I hope you have a good partner.
What's that?
A good partner with him. Like, I don't know if to say wife, female, just say partner. To
That
be
partner,
easy.
just like the dog had. In case you put a
Very
freaking
So that was how TikTok people are passing the time. Let's jump into our next segment where we discuss what's trending today. Right. Y'all, we had a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
It had bacchanal going on all year.
What we talking about is one thing that we talking about plenty, because we've seen it everywhere on riots. And we learn it inside of the protesters, they are agitators, what you call malefactors, people who have other agendas inside of the protesting for the thing. So that is also convoluting the message. The message as clear as it needs to be, because you have some other people talking about being opportunistic in this time and looting and other things, So that it has me very, very...
Well, Stephen, as I said, it's playing against 4 backgrounds. It's against the George Floyd background and his murder. It's against the COVID-19 background of people being out of work and angry and hungry. And it's against a background of police not being charged properly. So where's the justice? And then leadership who is not sympathetic, empathetic, and calming the situation. So that's why it's all building like a bubbling pot, a cauldron. You could see it every night bubbling in front of your eyes. Scary.
There's some positive things that I saw in the riots. You know how they do this human interest story, and I saw there was one time when the I would call them bad protesters, for want of a better word, they were going to loot a CVS store, and then the good protesters all formed a human barrier and kept them at bay. and until the police came, you know, and then you see, I saw this black woman coming in on a wheelchair. She's going up to the police, the motorbike wheelchair kind of. And a white policeman was talking to her nicely, and they hugged and stuff. But what get me vexed today, y'all? And this is this person wrote on Facebook: burning and looting is not protest for any good. They use the Floyd matter to do what comes natural. They use the Floyd matter to do what comes natural and excuse.
No, people are angry.
You want this what does he mean by they use? Who is they?
Exactly.
And when it comes natural, you know what it's saying, that this comes natural to black people. This 1% Trinidadian who own all the stores and half of Trinidad is talking about they use the Floyd matter to use what comes natural. And I read this, I get so mad today. So mad today.
Boy, that's angering.
You know? What kind of thing is that you put
we're dealing with different situations and different people, and of course everybody's going to use this opportunity to voice their opinion. I also saw the comment. I don't particularly like the reference to 1%. Me, I don't know. It's never really it never really sit well with me. But he is of that well, I don't want to call. He is of that denominator. Well, he is he's an abode. So my thing about it is that it seems like we're so disconnected. We're so disconnected as a people. Why we always have to use these opportunities to lash out and the use of they, Penny, as you rightfully said, who's they? I mean, he defended his comment by saying they in this instance would be anybody who responded, but I don't know if that sit well with me. I think he was just responding because people called him out on it. But I think he said exactly what he meant, and I think we know exactly what he meant.
Exactly.
And I think Trinidad also has a whole different issues than America as well. We have classism, we have all kind of hairism. Somebody said this morning, and I laughed, you know, but redism, color, you know, levels of redism. I don't know what to call that one, but we have lots of different issues.
But I hear that it'll bring the nasty side.
The looters are causing, as Richard Young says, to dilute the real message.
Yeah.
So the thing is, because there is a generic angst that has been going on for quite a while because it is about systemic racism. And yes, it's manifesting itself in all kind of ugly ways, which people are riding on and leveraging from, but it still is speaking to the real gut problem. That is racism contains, and we are kind of fortunate sometimes we do have it at that harsh level, but we have, as you said, Sal, isms. We have the browning culture, we have all of those other isms that go on here, and Indian.
You all don't think every time I walk down the street, they're asking me if I is a Spanish and Jace and how much and all kind of thing. I say, no, I was a Trini, oh gosh.
But anybody on Facebook, what they're saying, they have any points of view on what we spoke?
I saw Selvon Trotman said that Chicago has moved into a curfew. For it was 8 o'clock, it's moved to 6 o'clock. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine. I actually have a friend in Hollywood called Anna Maria Horsford. Yes, yesterday she told me she has to run inside because it's 6 o'clock curfew now. And she lost a lot of friends to COVID. You know, sometimes we are reading it as we say, we get desensitized, and we really don't know anybody. We're just reading this thing. She said she lost a lot of friends. And it just hit me when she told me that, you know. Anything else, Vaughnette? You've seen some comments there, because I've seen some paragraphs coming in there.
Timo Thomas is responding, and he says it's the stigma. It's the stigma. The stigma is often thought of us Black people. Bernadine Johnson says I was mad as hell. I think she's talking about the comments. I don't know. Renee Wamkison says he's talking that kind of nonsense all the time. Richard Bruce says people use certain situations to lash out, and it's not right at all. Verna St. Rose says, stay focused. Say the word, it is what it is. Kirk Cambridge says, when they tell you, believe them. And in other words, when you see who they are, then you need to believe them. Hazley Thomas says, it's so difficult to be black in this country, the USA, as a Trini.
Yeah.
Is the worst treatment as a people you can get, for real. Kimo Thompson says, they, them, these, those. People are all words that used to identify when they identify people in a racial manner. Yeah, let's move on.
But they need justice. We need justice because even the police chief said that if you are silent, you are complicit. I heard him say that, and he said it through an interview to the family, and so that's what people want. They want justice.
Yes, that's what it is.
This police officer had like 18 complaints against him in 19 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what?
It's not by accident. It's not by accident.
Why you have to wait for?
Third degree murder charge can't be it.
Yes.
Anyway, we're moving on. Your turn.
Okay.
Yes.
Justice.
Let's move on to let's play that game. One of our cute
This is for all the lovely people online who have joined us today, chatting with us and participating. We really appreciate your company. So guys, get ready. Today we have the OMG V-Spot Challenge. What will you be doing today? Explain to our audience and your V-Spot.
Right. So we're focusing today on people. These artists would have been members of successful groups, and they left these groups and had even more successful solo careers. Right? So it's a spin-off of the game from Friday. You would have been part of a group, you left the group, and you had greater success as a solo act. So you just, I'm going to sing a line of the song, you just tell me the name of the song and who the artist is. You don't have to tell me the group that they were from. Name of the song.
Yes, make it hard.
Okay, so if you get the answer right, you get to ask any one of us on the panel one question. If you don't, you will learn something today and accept that you get it wrong and move on. Don't dwell. Don't dwell. Are we ready?
And age is off the cards.
So song number 1. Baby, let's cruise away from here. That's the line. Don't be confused.
Don't be confused.
The way all right.
And
I find Penny is singing.
She don't know the words of that song. You know the words?
It's really Penny spot and she is singing.
Oh, that song is lovely.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a yacht at sunset.
Name of the song. All right, so I'm seeing Greg Cave is the first person there. That song is called Cruisin' by Smokey Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
So Greg
What band was he from, Vaughnette? Yeah, what band was he from, Smokey? What band was Smokey in?
He was a member of a band called The Miracles.
Oh,
The Miracles. That was the name.
Miracle.
Rachel, you might know that
Is he?
My grandmother used to sing those songs from that group, The Miracle.
Yes.
Okay.
What a miracle.
All right, song number 2. So this person was a member of a band, right? And she had, of course, greater success as a solo artist. And the line goes, all the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their name. That's it.
You don't think of them as human. You don't think of them at all. Keep your eye on the money and your eyes on the ball. I'm a... No, you can't sing that part. You can't sing that part.
Somebody must have got him. I know that.
Yeah.
Kimo said they answer in a broken up kind of way. Kimo said Tina and private dancer, but who is Tina? If we go in with that first name?
Yeah, Tina.
She's not like Madonna.
You and Tina's friend. You and Tina. Tina.
I have a friend named Tina.
So we give it to Dominic.
Dominic said Tina Turner, private dancer. Full answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Timon.
But who group she was in?
Yeah, she was with the group.
I can Tina Turner. I can Tina Turner.
I can Tina.
All right, so we're going on to song number 3. Song number 3. 1, 2. I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. I think of all I want for me. Here is where you ought to be. That's the line.
I'm miming this one.
You don't know the words.
No, that.
And I can't sing it as good as Vaughnette. You know, I can't sing.
I know that.
Timon Donnellan says, I think I speak for everyone when I say that Vaughnette alone should sing.
The rest should mime.
Others
okay, next
should
week
mime.
we'll do that. Thank you for the advice. We'll take it as constructive criticism, Simon. Thank you so much.
It's not Anita Baker's Sweet Love. I just want to die because you're not mine. I can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now or I'll go crazy. Oh, Camille. That's whoa.
Can we sing those parts?
Whoa.
Anybody got it yet?
Yeah, Camille Fair. Sweet Thing by Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan! I love Shaka.
Shaka Khan was a Rupert. Oh yeah, how do I know that? How do I know that? Look at Penny, she's happy, I know that. Penny, I find Penny face look, she's happy because I do that. How are you going to know that? Because my grandmother tell me, I tell you, I was very close with my grandmother. I was a prodigy child, so I retain all the information.
At her age,
right? So Greg Cave, Camille Pear, and who's there? And Dominic LaRoche. Those are the 3 questions. Greg Cave, Camille Pear, Dominic LaRoche.
So while they think of that question,
Greg Cave has a question.
Are you ready? She's ready.
There's a
question.
Grace asking Richard, what was your most challenging thing you ever dealt with in your career, and did it make you reconsider your career choice even for a moment? Good question, Grace.
Ooh, deep.
That question is for another show, but I will attempt to answer it because identity has always been an issue, and that's why I am very consumed with identity branding and giving it its worth and its veracity, and that people should be more interested in what you contribute and what your content is more than what they think you represent. So I had a lot of challenges with that. So I had to fortify the way that I do my presentations. I had to fortify the way I do my articulation so that I could get rid of that expression on the face that says, but you seem to know what you're doing. In fact, I have been told that many times when I walk into the space, they start with the conjunction, but you seem to know what you're doing, because on full sight, they assume that I would not know. because first of all, my name kind of represented another ethnicity. So when I walked in, and I was tall and black, and if I dare say, beautiful,
handsome, oh, beautiful, yes.
Yes.
It interfered with people's comfort zones.
I agree.
With their comfort zone. So I used to have to battle with that before my content was heard. And that has been challenging, and it still is challenging, I will tell you, that I confront that daily. So it really keeps me on the edge of my seat to prove myself. So we will have another show. Stephen wants to do a show with me, but we will talk about
on identity. Thank you for sharing, Richard Young. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's check out the next segment, people. OMG live on your screen.
In today's trailer, we feature a brand new movie coming to Quibi, the new streaming platform.
Right.
The movie is called Royalty. Let's take a look.
Did you write this song from the dumper's point of view?
Yeah, it's a breakup song.
That's not how a breakup song works. The song's never about the dumper. I'm Sarah. This is Pierce.
We're songwriters.
Guys, I'm loving the song. You two are killing it.
It's gonna be a big hit on MTV.
Mother, get with the times. You ever heard of Spotify?
I just knew I had to work with you guys.
Light bulb. If I collab with you guys on this song, now that's something I'd love to hear.
1, 2, 3, break it in, break it in. Come on down, break it in, break it in, break it in. Mama, we can take it into the classroom, get your ass room.
Yeah, I like that.
This is the biggest thing we've ever done in our entire lives. Do you have any pointers for us?
Get out while you're young.
Let me get this straight.
You wanted to feature every musical genre that has ever been. You want it in one song.
Yeah, but keep it simple. These kids have 4 hits under their belt, and that is a winning streak. Yeah, real drag to see it end, wouldn't it?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm completely blowing it.
Hey, we're blowing it.
We're a team. With our powers combined, we do the work of one songwriter.
I have a new single coming out. You can all get it very soon at your local Spotify.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Hi, Richard. Raghu.
A wee little bit late. Yeah. I think we have to consider whether this. I think we have to consider whether this show needs to move to 8 o'clock in the night. As the country, as the country becomes more and more, open.
Normalized.
Yes.
There's over.
8. Maybe we do it 6, 5, 6.
We have to listen to do some adjustments very soon. Very, very soon, people.
I know.
Some adjustments going to be made on the quarantine edition. You're going to have some changes. Okay, people. So that leads us into our next segment. So I was thinking.
Ready? No, the Penny have questions.
We have a question for Cecilia, actually. And the question is from Camille, and she says, Cecilia, what changes would you like to see for the performing arts specific to theatre and your craft? What changes would you like to see for the performing arts specific to theatre and your craft?
Well, the first change is based on something we were talking about earlier with one of our VIPs, is respect. The first change is respect. And it comes from all of us as well, respecting our craft and working on it. And a lot more teaching and master classes, which I think we are going to be involved in as we are at this COVID point and we have time to reflect, we realize how much we have to pass on. At least I do. So that is what I would like to see change. A lot more passing on, a lot more respect, and a lot more, oh gosh, what is the word? I don't want to say corporate. Corporate sponsorship. I think they need to respect that this could be a big money-making prospect that we have here in Trinidad. We are ready to take on the world with the great talent that we have, and it's time that they get on board. So I'd like to see that change. Talking bold.
Cool.
I hear that.
Cool.
I hear that.
Wow. Right, sorry. Any other questions?
No other questions for the right pen, so I think we can. Yeah, I didn't see that next question.
Right, so I was thinking is our next segment.
Yeah, what we thinking about? What we thinking about?
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
But I have been thinking. I've been thinking.
I'm confused.
Yes, Richard.
I have been thinking that with regard to the protests taking place in America, on George Floyd, if this is the first time that white people really get it. Because you're seeing droves of white people as part of the protest. In fact, in some protests, they're the majority. And it's the most diverse I've seen the crowds in terms of protests for this kind of killing of Black people that I think I've ever seen. And I was listening to CNN last night, and they had an interview with Jane Fonda, because I love Jane Fonda. She's been an activist forever. I love her. And Jane Fonda was very adamant that, watching that video, and she said because, this has been happening over the years, she started to do a lot of research as a white person into the whole history of the slavery, the Jim Crow, the new Jim Crow laws. And she is thinking that at this time, white people get it. They finally get that, the Black community have been second-class citizens, and sometimes, some of them were dismissive. It was so interesting to hear Jane Fonda's point of view, and I was so sorry that Don Lemon had to cut her short. So that's what I've been thinking. He eventually had to cut her short to get onto something that to me was a little less important, because you really wanted to hear her point of view more. And but that's what I've been thinking. Is it that white people in America are finally getting it? I suppose the Americans or people who live in America who are on the live who could weigh in more on that issue, because it's more close to home for them being there. But that's what I've been thinking.
I think you'll know if they get it after the election results in America. You'll know if white people get it. Sorry, anybody else what you're thinking?
For me, that video that you all showed earlier, that Stephen showed earlier about moving on and getting out and not getting stuck in a rut. I tell people, it's been a kind of difficult period for me, because I don't know if you know my history. I worked for Petrotrin for 18 years, whilst I was simultaneous. I was doing my music while I was there, and then Petrotrin shut down, and then I decided to focus on my art. As I said, I'm going to be a full-time creative now. And then COVID happened after I started plotting all these different plans that I had for my life, all these events that I would want to do, all these performances. And then COVID happened. So it's almost now like I have to try to almost kind of redefine again, or to find something new, or find a new way again. And it has been tiresome and kind of challenging, because it's like I just got kind of comfortable with the idea, okay, I'm not going back to the corporate world, and I'm going to do what I love. And this happens, and it's been really disheartening. So I just really have to find a way to move forward, because things are opening up, but I just don't have the energy right now to even focus on on the way forward, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my what I've been thinking is very much like along those same lines, Vaughnette. Well, I can't seem, first of all, to get George Floyd out of my head, having seen the video. And when you get up at 3 and you turn on the TV, there are images of burning cities all over America. And it's like the end of times. We've forgotten about the COVID, where these thousands of people are all gathered. So I just find it, I wonder if I'm living through Armageddon, and how do you now focus on yourself, you know, and everything you have to do when you're seeing all of this tragedy unfolding in front of you. I find that so difficult, you know. You feel, oh gosh, there's so much, it's so hard. You have to block that out at some point and meditate and focus on the way forward and the work. And I'm very glad that I have a friend in Penelope Spencer who's pulling me, as I say, along as well. And we have ventured out onto something exciting, and we're rehearsing, and getting back acting is the best cure. Is the best cure.
Yeah. I can imagine it is.
Plenty comedy.
I have been I've been really consumed, just like we all have been, with the protests and the fact that it's in many of the cities in the US, and it's even gone across to London. And it really means that, as Richard said, one, white people are getting it, but I think it is really, really addressing that the systemic nature of racism, and it only really just has to do with humanity. But on a softer note, I'm just out of, the last day was my mother's birthday yesterday. So I bonded with her and chatted with some older people. Yesterday was very tranquil in spite of all of that chaos. And I think today they call it World Parents' Day or something. So it's all in keeping with that mood I have with the
Global Parents' Day, yeah.
Global Parents' Day, yeah.
I have no choice.
Yeah.
Our producers were soon too, right? Today? Or yesterday, Stephen?
Coming up in the next 2 days would have been his mother's birthday.
2 days, right? So,
yeah.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, actually.
It's tomorrow.
She's 2nd of
tomorrow.
June.
Second, yeah. So that is it. I'm in a cool space because of that, in spite of all of the chaos and the rioting. Yeah.
That is true, family.
I was thinking about how could the Caribbean represent and let them know that we want justification for George Floyd. I was thinking about all of those things. As an activist, you're shaking, you want to get in there. And, you know, of course,
you want that.
As soon as tear gas start, I running. Because I ain't playing
that.
We'll
be there.
That's the hero, right? But I was wondering how could the Caribbean, what would their input be in a situation like that? Especially when I saw London was activated and Black Lives Matter started up their protests up there. So a friend of mine coincidentally said she going and represent the Caribbean in front of the embassy, and they just move her because the embassy locked it down already and call, and you have to get papers to do their stand there because she alone with a sign. So they run her.
Yeah, but if she sits in the savannah opposite, just sit in the savannah. It's legal to be in the savannah meditating. Just go and meditate in the savannah.
Well, apparently you can't meditate in
the
savannah
stop you?
without a permit. Well, just stop.
Oh, so how about if I jog on the spot? How about if we don't stand, we jog?
Crazy place we live in. A crazy place.
Well, you know, Penny, you know that last year we have been both of us personally have been part of several protests that we went out, and
artists for equality.
My sense of Trinbagonians is that they don't like to put themselves out there and stand up for anything in a very public way. They don't.
I know.
And we were both part of those different protests last year. And I mean, one of them was like 20 people. And we still went.
And
we still went, and we stood up there, and it's because I think you are like me. We stand by what we believe is our value on that particular topic, our values on that particular topic.
You know how many corruption things I can dress up as Miss Miles by all of the embassies, by all of the thing with the mask. Every time somebody had a corruption march, they call me as Miss Miles. I went, and I feel very strong about it. Every year on World Anti-Corruption Day, I do something.
I am just amazed at how the embassy, the embassy closed that down one time.
But the gentleman who was fasting, what's his name again? Somebody remind me. Oh, come on. Right, Ragoobarsingh. I went and sat with him too. He was there for a long time. They didn't move him.
Well, no, they had to get permit apparently for the embassy, because the embassy is the embassy. It's not the normal embassy. You see what we dealing with? And you know who embassy. But we're going on, we're moving. Yes, we're moving on. So, yeah, there's that.
So if we go by the black box, it's okay then. We'll go by the black box.
You could do it by the black box.
Good. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think the time has come to close the session. I want to say a special thank you to those who watched and took part in our show. Please send us your comments, your voice notes, your photos, your thoughts, your voice clips, your perspectives. Send it to info@omgtt.com so we can air it right here on the OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition.
Yay!
If your Facebook Live edition of today's show was glitchy because of irregular internet speeds, you can watch a smooth recorded version on YouTube. Let's go to OMG TT. We will upload it shortly. Join us Monday to Friday, 2 p.m.
I think everybody's feed was glitchy because they didn't see me all the time, and all of a sudden they're seeing me.
Oh, please.
Okay, so everybody can say their farewell. Time to say farewell. Adieu.
Bye.
Bye. PC comedy. Look out for it.
PC
comedy.
Yes.
I am so looking forward.
Me too.
I have all the money. I have all the money.
Oh.
It will be fantastic. It'll be a riot.
Leave you with the song Progress from the Tobagonian artist known as Casper the Lyrical.
And the model.
Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for being with us today. It has been a wonderful day. The first day of June. The Global Day for Parents. As we always say at OMG, Cecilia, take it away.
Let's
be
kind
to each
other. TNT
and the
Caribbean. Him protect me from the mental genocide. So every time you see me rise.
more one of these.
See from the time them to me rise, them want to the downfall. But that happen at all. No way, me no rate them boy they. And me will never fear them boy they. Them boy too evil and bad mind. I try and still fear in a mankind. But me no rate them boy they. And me will never fear them boy they. Them want me lay down flat. And by my back flex the muscle when my hustle make a step without a Glock. Can't send too bad gal to lure me in a trap. Professor in a mind, never excel and crack. Never trust politician when them lead me off track. Even when them virtualize the way that we interact. But a God's eye, a guide I and I. Him protect me from the mental genocide. So every time you see me rise, them want to the downfall. But that can't happen at all. No way, me no rate them boy they. And me will never fear them boy they. Them boy too evil and bad mind. Them a try instill fear in a mankind. But we no rate them boy they. And me will never fear them.